Hello, this is Carrie Kellogg from MK Unique Designs, and today I thought I would bring you along on a journey of creating a new color. I have someone who has asked me to create, based on this paint swatch, a color for a yarn for them. So I am going to attempt to create this yarn, or this color. So I thought I'd show you what I do when I'm getting a new color together and what kind of materials I need. First, I use Dharma acid dyes mostly, and I got a color chart, and what I did was I kind of put this color up next to try to find the right base color. And I think what I'm going to try with this one first is a sea spray. Sea spray is one of my favorite colors, and it's right here. It seems to be a little bit lighter. I don't know if you can see that. A little bit lighter, but it seems to be in the same color family. So I'm going to start with the base of this. If that doesn't work, I may go over to a teal, but the teal seems too green, and this seems to be more in a blue base. So some things that you need to get started. One is the color that you want to go for. Some gloves, masks. I have a little digital scale that I'll use once I get the right colors together to start weighing out the colors so that I can recreate these colors. Alright, I have coffee filters to drip the dye on just to see what it comes up like. I have some samples of some different yarns, and what I do is after I get some colors that I like, I go ahead and dye up these little samples and check them out. You need a glass jar, it helps you to see your various colors, and today I have sea spray, twilight gray, silver gray, true black, a turquoise, and a gunmetal for me to try. I have some little cups to mix up just little tiny bits of dye, a little dropper to drop the dye, and this is the tool that I use the most. It's my icing knife. I dip the tip of this in some water, and then I dip it down in the dye. That way I don't have airborne dye. You should wear a mask when you're doing this because the dyes can become airborne and they are an irritant. So you want to wear a mask when you do this. But what I do is I dip it in some water and then dip it down into the dye, which you'll see, and then back down into the water, so I don't have any airborne particles. So let's get started here. I'm going to use this little cup so I can have a little bit of water. I'm going to start with the sea spray. And if you don't want blue fingers or sea spray colored fingers, I suggest you put on gloves. Usually by the end of the day you can tell what color I've been dyeing. So let's put a little bit of water down in here. Dip this down in there. I'm just going to pour a little bit back because I'm just wanting to mix colors and see where it goes. Okay, so let's get a coffee filter out here. This is a cheap and inexpensive way to test your colors. So here is the sea spray. It's more of a blue, and I'm doing a really weak kind of wash with it. So I'm not sure how well you're going to be able to see this with my lighting. But there's the sea spray and there is the color we're working towards. So I'm going to go ahead. One of my favorite colors is the silver gray. I'm going to put just a little bit of silver gray. And it would be so cool if I could get this on the first try. Get my pipette. And it looks to me like the silver gray, either I put too much in or didn't put enough of the sea spray, because I am picking up more of the gray color. I don't know how well that's going to translate across for you to see. When I do that, you really can't see it. So that's not exactly the color I'm looking for. But let's see what happens when I put a little bit more sea spray in it. The sea spray brings back the blue, but it is still a blue-gray. Almost like in the sea spray all by itself. All right. So let's try the sea spray. I've got a gunmetal. Let's see what gunmetal does. The gunmetal made us more of a blue, more of a purpley blue, however. A little bit more sea spray here. Very, very close. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to dip in a little bit of this yarn. And I didn't wet this yarn. I have no citric acid in it, so it's not gonna adhere very well, but it'll give me an idea of the colors. I appear to be, let's see if we can get this one, darker than, but close, very close. Actually, I'm very happy with that. It's a little bit more of a kind of tealy color. It's going to be hard to match a flat to a flat paint color to a yarn color. But that seems to be like the on the more right road. So let's get started now in seeing what we come up with. Get rid of what I don't need. The blues, the blacks, the twilight grays, although I may need a little gray to in the final color. That is pretty close. All right, so just 1 second, I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I've dyed some wool, and let's see what you think. Here is the card, and here is the yarn. It's not exact, but I think it's very close. Let me get around here. See what you think about that. I think it's pretty good. And I dyed 2 skeins, and they are very close.